To achieve greatness, one should have a dream or passion, continuously acquire knowledge, work hard with perseverance, and not be afraid of problems. A quote by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was a brilliant scientist and played a leading role in India's missile and nuclear mission programs. He became the 11th President of Republic India in the year 2002. Above all, he took up a mission to ignite the young minds for national development by meeting high school students across the country. Hello, my name is Malathi, and I am your host on the show titled The Impressive Empress, where we celebrate and amplify the voices of women, providing insightful conversations, stories, and inspiration to help more girls and women embrace their power, purpose, and potential in all aspects of life. The idea behind this show is to understand what it takes for a woman to become a leader, to understand the journey from within, the journey to becoming a female leader with a higher purpose. Today, it is my privilege to introduce you a luminary in the world of melodies, a torchbearer for the Saraswathi Veena, India's national instrument, Dr. Jayanthi Kumaresh. A sixth-generation musician born into the illustrious Lalgudi family, her musical odyssey spans an impressive 38 years. From her early days under her mother's guidance to 22 years of intense training under her aunt, Vidushi Padmavathy Ananthagopalan, Jayanthi's journey has been a testament to her unwavering commitment to the Saraswathi Veena. Recognizing her exceptional talent, All India Radio awarded her the highest A top grading, making her one of the youngest Veena artists to achieve this distinction. She is a recipient of the Kalaimamani Award from the Government of Tamil Nadu and has been honored with prestigious award for Veena, an astounding 10 times by the Music Academy Chennai between 1990 and 2021. She holds the distinguished status of being an empaneled artist with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, the ICCR, and serves on the academic council at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth and Sri Satya Sai University for Human Excellence. Her commitment to the Saraswathi Veena extends beyond performance and accolades. Dr. Kumaresh is a composer, researcher, creator, pioneer, educator, and above all, a philanthropist. She uses technology to revolutionize Veena teaching through her online academy. Jayanthi provides free music education to the less privileged children and has recorded therapeutic music for times now to help reduce blood pressure and arthritis. She consistently donates 15% of her concert earnings to promote art in smaller Indian cities. You can find more on her other activities on our website Bhogya.online, Phogya.online. Jayanthi has taken Veena to audiences across continents, fostering an interest in this traditional instrument even among those unfamiliar with its divine resonance. Dr. Kumaresh stands as a beacon of excellence and compassion, transcending geographical and cultural boundaries to preserve and propagate the rich heritage of the Saraswathi Veena and also using her art to make a positive impact on the society. Listen on as Dr. Jayanthi Kumaresh joins me in this conversation where we talk about creativity, innovation, and perfection, among other things. Namaskaram, Jayanthi. A very good afternoon.
Namaskaram. What a pleasure.
I'm so excited to have you as my guest today on this show called The Impressive Empress, where we talk to women leaders from various walks of life, trying to understand their inner journey to becoming the person that creates this impact in the society that leaves a lasting impression in the minds of the people. So once again, welcome to the show, Jayanthi.
I've been watching a few of your interviews and it was very beautiful, to say the least.
Thank you so much. Coming from you, it means a lot to me. Thank you, Jayanthi. I know you come from a family of musicians. I also read that one of your ancestors was actually invited by Tyagaraja Swami to your ancestral village, and there were Pancharatna Kritis that he sung. What an honor that must have been. But I see that generally it is only in a musician family that the offsprings also take to this. I don't see that in the other professions. I may be totally wrong, but what is the secret behind this, Jayanti? Is there a secret? What is this? What happens in the family that brings more musicians from a musician's family?
So, getting to that point where you spoke about Tyagaraja Swami, my great great grandfather was his direct disciple. So he traveled with him, and when Tyagaraja Swami was passing through Lalgudi, he was invited to our ancestral home where he stayed for a few days and composed the Lalgudi Pancharatna Kritis. It's a set of 5 Kritis on the main deity of the temple that is in Lalgudi. Isha Pahimam and all these kritis. Is very, very beautiful set of kritis. And 1 or 2 kritis are on the Devi there, on the divine feminine consort. There, the Pravritta Srimati is the name of the concert. So we've been so fortunate to have, some, I don't know, they say 10 generations or something of punya or good karma that you accumulate for something like that to happen. I guess the ecosystem in which we grow, like when you sow a seed, the climate, the rains, the way it is taken care, everything has an impact on how that seed sprouts, becomes a plant, and flowers. So, for those of us who come from a family replete with musicians, I think more than hearing nursery rhymes, our mothers and aunts whispered those kritis into our ears while we were young children. And we heard these kritis and raga alapana and the sounds of Carnatic music. So, Carnatic music is essentially not just one art form, it combines a complete ecosystem. So, if I want to relive my childhood and I want to close my eyes, then I hear a couple of children singing Sarli Varsai, Jagda Varsai, and somebody practicing a beautiful Madhyamavati ragam in another room. I hear the sounds of anklets. I hear the temple in our house nearby ringing its bell. I smell the sambrani, the incense that my mother used to light. I smell those jasmines. I hear the sounds in the house. We didn't have a huge housing complexes then. So we had little homes with a little garden and everything in front. So I hear the traffic noise outside. So if I just want to go to that part of my life, I just close my eyes and visualize all these sounds, and then I'm there. So, whatever are the sounds that are fed into you as a child stays with you and becomes the software and the hardware for you to build up on. I guess that's what happens to kids who grow up in musician families.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's a combination of so many things. The environmental, like you mentioned, I think the spiritual aspect also comes out. And it's also it is very personal. It is something that you imbibe. I think you also mentioned you become that.
Correct.
In spite of the DNA and everything running in your blood, I think the ambience makes a lot of difference. I understand that you kind of took something like a Gurukula Vasam with your aunt, who's also your guru, your Perima, whom you admire so greatly for all that you have as a Veena exponent. You had many teachers from whom you learned various aspects of music and how to deliver it, and how to choose a particular bani and things like that. But I would like to understand from you, what is the role of a mentor or a guru in shaping a person to reach excellence?
That is such a beautiful question. A mentor is someone who allows you to grow. So that way, Veena Virtuoso, Dr. S. Balachander sir, had a very, very unique Bani. Everyone knows how he was a maverick, he was a maestro, virtuoso. You had all the names you can put. He would pull around 7 notes in one fret. He had his own style. He knew when I went there that I come from a different style of playing from my aunt, and it was a different style. At no point he insisted I become a carbon copy of his style. So he encouraged me and nudged me to find out how I can express it through myself. So, in that way, I should also say um, it is impossible to not replicate what Balachander sir does because it is so jaw dropping. And as a young kid, I would come home and try all the pulls he did. I would try and do all the things he did with his left and right. Not that I succeeded, I at least tried. But there would be people who would come to my concerts and say, that particular song you sounded exactly like Balachander. I would think that is a great compliment. And then came a stage in my life quite recently. Recently, I would say at least 7 years ago, when I was traveling with the great Ustad Zakir Hussain ji. And he said, I understand, Jayanthi, you come from a Lalgudi family. You were influenced by Balachander sir and all of that. But we look for the Jayanthi style, the Jayanthi band. So I know you're very happy to sound like him and sound like them, but we want you to tell your story. We want you to sound like yourself. So find your story to tell, find your sound, find your expression. That's when there were so many, I had put myself into a box of trying to fit into that structure. And then I felt so many barriers and so many shackles opened, and I felt very free to try on the Veena everything that I felt I wanted to play on it.
Amazing, amazing. That a mentor should allow you to grow and find yourself. That is the key role of a mentor. If I have to ask you about how you plan for a concert, you have said that planning for a concert itself, in itself, is an art. But there are so many things that come into play. You have to ensure that your physical, emotional, the psychological health, all of these play a very big role. Can you take us behind the scenes to understand how it moves from preparation to perfection? And what is your definition of perfection of an alapana or a ragam or a pallavi?
There are two mindsets in which you go for a concert. At least I go. There are those peaceful days, everything at home. All of us have families, we have seniors, we have little ones, everything. So, if everything is calm and then your thought process is scientifically, arithmetically, I want to wing out something out of my hat today and all of that. But then there are these days when until you leave, someone is not well, there has been a mess at home, something terrible has happened or something unpleasant. So you want to be in that space where there is only bliss and the smell of jasmine. But it doesn't happen in reality until you go. And I mean, you have your house full of guests, everyone chooses to come on the day you have a performance, you have to make dinner and go. You have to really become a superwoman that day. You have to go there on the stage and you can't say, I have like folks at home waiting for dinner. There are those people who bought the tickets and they're waiting for you to dazzle out there, and so many pairs of eyes looking at you. So you are the diva to them. So when you sit there, you have to be the goddess, you have to be the diva. So you just take off that hat and complete surrender. At those times, what I do is I keep all my channels just clean for the divine energy to flow. I don't have to do a thing. The problem comes when you think you are doing it. So then you say, oh, I have this thing at home. I am going to do this. The minute you say, I am going to let the divine pervade and take over. All I have to do is keep it simple and keep myself open for this energy to pass. And those concerts have been the most memorable ones for me because I didn't play it, some divine force played it. So I think there are moments of total surrender, and I have seen miracles happen on stage. There have been passages I've not even practiced that have come on stage, and I wondered, really, where did that come from? And there have been days when I've practiced a passage so many times, and I went there and either forgot it or missed playing it, or it didn't come out the way I went. So it is a combination of all these things. And regarding planning, you want to play something that can make the audience happy. I don't believe in going to the stage to prove a point. So to say, see, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, that's fine. That becomes like a magic show. Music is all about healing. So I want people to go home with very full heart. So I want to pack into my concert things that will be entertaining for them, elevating for them, and educative for them. So I put in a little of all of that. And finally, as I told you, just let the divine pervade and take over. Only when you think you are doing it, stage fright comes, nervousness comes, and then insecurities come, ego comes. So many of these emotions come. When you say, I'm only an instrument, it becomes very simple.
This is so pure and magical. I mean, listening to you, it all sounds like so easy to just let the divine pervade. But I'm sure there's a lot of practice that goes behind to allow yourself to take a step back and allow the divine to pervade. So, how does a typical Jayanti day look like if all of this has to be incorporated?
Well, you said a lot of practice that I would attribute to staying with a guru versus staying with your parents. So, when you're staying with your parents, you're allowed to throw tantrums, you are allowed to ask for things, you are pampered with your favorite dish, you can wake up late, you can go to bed early, or you cannot go to bed, you can hang out, you can have friends over, you can go to friends' house. When you're with your guru, you can do none of these things. You are woken up at 4, you have to play for 4 hours, and then you go to school, you come back, and going to school is considered as a big entertainment because, see, so many hours away from music, and then you come and practice again, and then you are criticized, you are shouted at, you are scolded, and you are molded in the presence of several others. So you can't even say, like you would say in your house, why did you scold me in front of her? You can't say, because there are like some 40, 50 people and you're being molded. So you are watched. And at that time, you try to and resist it. But then at one point, you have to surrender if you want to go further in your art. Otherwise, you become one of those people who tried it and came back home with a failure. You have to withhold. I stood there for 22 years. So that was a long period. And the downside of that was when I would come home, Amma would ask me, what's your favorite dish? I didn't know what to say. What's your favorite color? I don't know what to say. I didn't know how to hang out with friends. I didn't speak to friends for hours on end. So all these things I learned after my marriage to Kumaresh. So, because everything was what the guru said, it was total surrender. And she was one of the strictest. You can ask anybody in the Carnatic music field who's the strictest guru, they will tell you, because she was that strict. If I told her I didn't like this dish, she would say, you have to eat more of it. You can't afford to have I like or I don't like because you're going to travel. You have to eat what you get. You have to learn to live, you have to learn to adjust. So she got me ready for being on the road for a lifetime in those years.
Our heartfelt thanks to your guru for presenting you in such a way or molding you in such a way that we are all able to enjoy that divine bliss through your concerts. For a concert itself, you seem to wear multiple hats, meaning, like you said, you enjoy playing to the audience. Each audience is different, each hall is different, each concert is different. Therefore, the way you tailor for each performance is different. I'm just quoting your own words here. How do you prepare for such diverse audiences?
That is the beauty of music. How, let us say, let us say, water. The way you put it into different containers. Water is the same, but when it is presented in a glass versus a jug versus a big drum, the water remains the same, but it shapes, it molds itself according to the container. So each day, it is a different combination of scenarios. Today, it is a solo, and then I play my own repertoire. Tomorrow, it is a concert with Kumaresh. And the USP of Ganesh Kumaresh is their practice, their discipline, their speed. And then I immediately change to that mode. And then it's a Jugalbandi with a North Indian artist. We find ragas that are common in both. I play a little bit of Hindustani prayogas and a little bit of Carnatic prayogas. And then it's a fusion concert. Indian spice is on the stage. And then you change that. And the day after tomorrow, it's a Triveni concert with Kalaji and Ustad Zakir Hussain ji. And then you're representing the national instrument of India, what you do. So how each time you are in a place of responsibility. But one day as a daughter, one day as a mother, one day as a daughter-in-law, one day as a wife, one day as something. It's what as women we do in our multiple roles, the mysterious duality of everything. How you, Malati, are a mom, a wife, a grandmother, a daughter-in-law, everything.
You are making it sound so simple to wear different hats, but I guess deep down it is your spirituality. I think there's a lot of spiritual dimension in the way you speak, in the way you do things. How do you feel this connection has shaped your personal identity as an artist?
I think it is very important for every person to have an anchor. It could be a mentor or it could be a spiritual anchor. For me, a spiritual anchor like Mahaperiva worked out in the sense like the word worked out seems so mundane when I speak about Mahaperiva. I mean, I'm blessed to have something to tie your thoughts, your anguishes, your doubts, your everything to. And then you say, I think that has helped my boat sail um, through winds, through storms, through sunny days, through everything. It gives you hope. I think the journey is better when you walk with faith and hope rather than ideologies and convictions.
Great. Giftedness researcher Ellen Winner says, you need a rebellious spirit and the type of mind that can see new things in order to make a major contribution, be it in arts or even the sciences. And she went on to describe you as self effacing with an outstanding trait of audacity to be different. This was during this conference that you organized with a whole lot of musicians to present the Indian classical music in a very different way. How do you view your role of innovation in your music journey, especially in the context of making a lasting contribution in the art space?
My journey has always been about popularizing the Saraswathi Veena across the globe. So, if that means I have to speak the language of kids, speak the language of today's youth, I will do it because I think it is a calling for me to put the Saraswati Veena on the globe, to for everyone to understand the national instrument of India, because it's not just an instrument. There's so much of esoteric significance to this instrument. So I have obtained a great amount of joy playing it and listening to it. I'd like to share it with the world. So there were times when I would worry about being judged about playing anything. Today I play Harry Potter. Today I play Game of Thrones. Today I play Good, Bad, Ugly in between my concerts, in between my shows, because ultimately it's music is genreless. Music is one of the sixth natural elements. Like everything, you just can't see it. You feel it, like you feel the winds, like you feel the akasha or every other element. So I am very bold and today, but I wouldn't say I was like that. It has been a growth. If you ask me something, everything, my horizons have moved on from childhood. What I started with, nothing has remained constant. Maybe that's why life is interesting. If there was one aim and I worked for 53 years only for that aim, probably it would have been boring. My horizons have always changed and receded, and I get there and I think it's a mirage. Then I think maybe there's something else, and I'm probably in search. Right now, my companion in search is the Veenas you see that are with me. They have traveled with me through every corner of the world that I have been to, and I've dared to dream that this instrument will be something that will be recognized worldwide.
I would like to now shift the focus from music to women. I know in the Indian classical art forms, there are a lot of women, but can you please talk a little bit about women and music, and how can women musicians, through their artistic expressions, play a pivotal role in shaping societal perspectives and foster a positive transformation in the societies?
The current problem, as I see in today's the situation, I would say, not a problem, is that people are looking at the world predominantly only with their eyes and not using their ears. Why I'm saying this is when you say Carnatic music, Karna Ataka, meaning that which is pleasing to the ears. So music is through the ears. The Vedas, our scriptures, are through the ears. We never had notation. Everything that mattered, a mother's love, is felt. A bhakti towards the divine is felt in the heart. Information is the only thing that we see and read and assimilate through the eyes. So the pivotal role of women will be to make people look within. So to look within, there is a small way of saying it and there is a grand way of saying it. Let me do the small one now. First, get your kids off devices for a little bit of time every day. Stop the scrolling and take them to a concert. Take them to a music class. Get them to play a music instrument. It is said that kids who play a music instrument, motor skills, other skills are much better. When you play an instrument, you are focusing on at least 6 or 7 things at the same time. You are looking at the talam, you're looking at the ragam, you're looking at the composition, you're looking at the fingering techniques, you're looking at the plucking techniques. So your motor skills, your left brain, right brain, everything is activated. These kids do better in school or college. So as a woman, I would definitely see that folks at home definitely listen to music, play a music instrument, and spend more time together playing music, creating music, going for a concert, and such activities, or dance. I mean, not necessarily music, but something that is off screen. So, as a musician, I try when kids come for class, try to engage them, not just 1 hour class, but make them sit for 3-4 hours for other people's class, build a community. Speak to each other. Say, you speak, wear your patipavade, wear your traditional dress and come here. Speak to each other. Make friends, real friends, friends who matter. Build a community. Go out together. Don't sit at home in front of a screen and keep watching one thing after the other. So, this is something that bothers me a lot, that what we all used to do as kids, we used to hang out outside, we used to go outside and see the sun, see the plants, see the sky. Now everything is seen only on the screen. So that is one thing. And I also think music as meditation is very important. So we could encourage playing music while kids are studying, while driving, going for family drives, and somehow kind of curate the playlist that kids listen at home, so that by the end of 7 years, they'll be listening to what they actually should be listening to. So I have a feeling unconsciously, as women, if we could do this, I give homeworks to my children by saying, find out at least nine compositions in the Ragam Bhairavi and find out who's the composer. They are forced to go to YouTube, find these compositions, listen to it, and write it and come. So encourage them to do such things. So as musicians, I think we can do our little bit in making children enjoy the real world.
Great. With a remarkable record of receiving over 24 awards, including the prestigious A-top grading from the All India Radio, how do you personally define success in your musical journey? Could you share insights into how your perspective on success has evolved over the years, and what role, if any, do these accolades or successes play in shaping your ongoing pursuits?
So, if success were termed as combination of a lot of applause, a lot of name, fame, awards, they should make you truly happy from within. Then I do some inner search, and then you get an award, and then you go to a quiet room and say, are you really happy? So the answer is, actually it didn't make a huge difference. So then you think, you feel hollow inside, and then you start questioning, so what will make a real difference? Did so many people, coming, and you were packed, everybody was there, did that make you feel good? Not really. Then what? None of these things were nice to have. Nice to have. Yeah, nice. I felt good that many people like it. I felt good I was recognized by this organization. All this, but you don't attribute anything to yourself already. You attribute it to the Saraswathi Veena. So she got all the awards, she got the applause, she got everything. So what is it that gives you? Is probably after playing a real, true piece of music, and there is a silence, it could be a few seconds, when you stop and they don't want to applaud because it's too beautiful and they don't want to take off their hands, and then there's a small tear from someone's eyes, maybe yours, maybe a few people. There's a moment, and that is magical, and that really moves me.
Yeah, I totally get it. I have been part of one such concert, and it was amazing, and I totally get it. But it is all nice to say that these don't matter. But for a young musician who's just starting off, what would be the kind of path that they should take in order to reach where you are today?
Hard work, practice. There is no shortcut to practice. When I say practice, I mean mindful practice. So when I say play this Varnam 20 times, kids just play it 20 times. But after the second or third time, mind is already dreaming about something. So that practice is not great. Mindful practice. Am I playing the right technique? Am I plucking my hands rightly? Am I pulling the notes correctly? Is it sounding fine? Mindful practice, meaningful practice, guided practice. And being lured by short term successes or praise is not a great thing for youngsters. They have to see the big picture. If they have to go, that entire distance, make a lifetime of becoming a musician. If they want to go up on stage very early, it's not a healthy trend. I think you have to wait for the fruit to ripen and wait for it to become proper naturally until it's ready to cut and eat. Otherwise, I'm probably old school in that.
Yeah, but it has worked in your case, and I'm sure hard work will definitely yield the right kind of results. And that's a great tip, having a mindful practice. And I'm sure all those who are listening would take note of that. I'm also happy to see that you are into a lot of philanthropy. It spans a diverse range of causes, from raising funds for charitable organizations to providing free music education to the less privileged children in small parts of India. With such a broad spectrum of initiatives, how do you choose the specific causes or the projects you support? What are your personal motivations that guide your decisions in contributing to these various philanthropic endeavors?
As a musician, what we can contribute first is the music. So, where it is needed most, where it will make an impact, I choose that first. Secondly, when I donate money as from my concerts or other things, I put education first and I put senior citizens immediately next. So I usually choose de-regional and de-religious projects for mine. But I'm also in charge of a trust in the name of my guru. For that, it is essentially only Veena. So her goal is sponsor a Veena concert in every Sabha, create an award for young Veena, conduct Veena workshops, conduct only Veena, festivals. So that part of I'm the main trustee in that foundation. So in that role, I do everything I can for Veena because for her that is very important. Somewhere inside me, for me, being a good human being is first, and then everything else comes in. Of course, my breath is Veena, but for that, you need to be good people. So, good education, good food for seniors, especially. I'm really bothered about the senior communities and all of that. So, if I can go and play an evening for them, can give them an evening of music with their songs they heard when they were young and they used to go for concerts, I would love to do that. I do that.
That's a humane way of doing things, and thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing. You're doing so many things. You have so many activities, and there's a very important question that always keeps coming back to women, especially. Your points on how do you manage your work and your life?
I guess all of us are still figuring it out, and we take one day as it comes. So there is no, that there is no set formula to make it work. You just hope you make it every single day. My guru told me that life is like a book. So one page turned. And she would say, make sure you write something meaningful in every page, because when you're nearing the end of the book and you want to read what have I written, you don't want all random things written all over your book. Make sure you write meaningful things. So that is my only motivation. So by the end of every day, I make sure I do something meaningful so that, 10 pages later, I can feel happy when I read this page. I think it helps me a great deal by having a spouse who's also a musician. So He understands my schedules. He understands my needs as a musician. I don't have to explain so many things that other lady musicians would have to, who have spouses who are not particularly musicians. Why I need to practice late at night, why I have to go one day early for a concert, why there are so many things as women we have to do to create a work and family balance. But many of those things are understood in my case because my husband is also a great musician, and we share the stage in many occasions also. So yes, we keep hoping it will work, and I think this surrender to the divine and keeping a very calm mental state helps. And insecurity and ego are the two things we need to put on watch in our life. I think then it becomes quite easy.
Thank you so much. Are you ready for a rapid fire round?
Why not?
Yeah. What are the three essential qualities for a musician to excel in life?
Learning to hear, practice, and a musical gene.
Mhm. What are the three things that you are grateful for in your life?
That my hands and legs work, that I can see and I can hear.
Mhm. What do you think is the most significant barrier for a woman to assume leadership roles for impact?
Her mental blocks, her own thoughts.
Mhm. Where do your best ideas come from, and what can others do to get more creative at this?
When I'm put under pressure, I get a lot of good ideas.
Okay, that's very interesting. Finally, what is the one core message that you received from your gurus or the people you look up to that has been your guiding light?
Work till the last breath.
Amazing. It's been a pleasure talking to you. So many pearls of wisdom or notes of wisdom, if I should, you have shared so beautifully once again. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy, very busy schedule, especially with the Margary season beginning. Thank you so much for being on the show, Jayanthi.
Your questions, the speed in which you ask them, and your healing voice, and your insightful research on what you're speaking about made it very, very special tete a tete for me this morning. And I absolutely enjoyed. I wish your program all success, Malti.
Thank you so much, Jayanthi. Yeah. Thank you once again for being on the show. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.
You too.
Thank you so much for listening in. I hope you liked this conversation and found it inspiring. If you think this could help transform minds, please feel free to share this podcast widely. You can listen to the Impressive Empress podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Music, JioSaavn, Deezer, and many more. Got a question that you want me to ask our next guest? Write to me at empress at Bhogya.online. That's EMPRESS at VHOGYA.online. Do show your love for the Impressive Empress podcast with your likes, follows, and subscribes. Bye until the next time, and take care.